Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. After the global integration, the marketplace, countries have to be competitive. If you're not competitive, you cannot sell your goods. Nobody is going to hire your services, and at the end, that translates into fiscal deficit and trade balances and virtually accumulation of wealth. Countries become rich by just being competitive. If you are not competitive, you will probably fail in getting new businesses and moving internationally, and in so many other ways it will become very difficult for the countries to keep pace with a global pace which decides who is going to live and who is going to perish. And for that, a competitiveness symbol and a report on competitiveness is being published worldwide, different countries. Pakistan is also doing that. We have today with us a person who is mover and shaker, and he is the main focus behind this writing Pakistan Competitiveness Report. This year the report has very startling features, one you don't expect and one you expect, and the government and the opposition can evenly use them if they have a chance to read them. Amir Jahangir, very warm welcome. Just tell us something about it as a basic premise.
Well, competitiveness is basically defined as the set of institutions and policies which a country sets to improve its productivity. It shows the attractiveness of the country, it shows how institutions are strengthened, how the infrastructure is. So it gives you a state of, an overview of the state of economy. And if you dive deeper into the indicators, you can actually identify which are the pillars where Pakistan is performing well, which any country is performing well. So it basically is a comparison of more than 137 countries around the world. So Pakistan can benchmark itself amongst other nations in the world. This was launched in 2004 by the World Economic Forum, and this is now since last 10 years, the methodology for the evaluation and ranking of the competitiveness has been the same. So it gives a lot of insight how Pakistan has improved and how over the years, and which are the areas where Pakistan has performed well.
What are the main pillars? I mean, how you integrate institutes and institutions and define pillars?
Well, the competitiveness is basically measured on 12 pillars. They are the institutions, infrastructure, macroeconomic stability, higher education and training, and primary education and health, business sophistication, innovation, technological readiness, and then there are the market indicators on financial market indicators, goods development indicators, and the labor market efficiency.
Right. And you did some survey on that or whatever?
Well, globally, the World Economic Forum reaches out to more than 12,000 people.
Right.
The survey basically reaches out to the business leaders in the country. In Pakistan, we reach out to more than 520 people. Out of these, 290 were selected from this year, and almost 237 from the last year. So, but it is the methodology and the questionnaire remain the same across the world. But usually a question comes up whether how can a size of 500 plus people can be representative of more than 200 million people. Well, Pakistan this year is the third largest surveyed country. So the survey size for Pakistan was number third after China and Mexico. The methodology behind selecting the sample is very aggressive, it has to be representative. So we have reached out to the services sector, agriculture, manufacturing, non-manufacturing.
Right.
Yeah.
So these are the parameters, and you have just seen these are the parameters of the report, and we'll talk about the report and what the report says about Pakistan and where it places Pakistan. But after the break, please stay with us.
It's diverse.
It's original.
It's SDTV.
Welcome back. What report says about Pakistan?
Well, Pakistan has actually performed very well.
Right.
And
despite all that
all
muck
that-
that is
Yes.
that we see every day.
actually that is an indication that how Pakistan is performing well. This year, out of 137 countries, Pakistan has been ranked at 115 as compared to last year, which was 122. Some of the major improvements have been in the pillars of the institutions.
But still in the bottom quarter.
It is, but obviously it is because Pakistan has to gain so much the loss that we have made in the last many years.
Or
But if
other
you,
decades.
one thing which is very important, very strong, is the improvement on the institution pillars, where we have improved almost 21 points. That shows whatever you are seeing right now is an indication that the institutions in the country are performing well.
The institution did not let the interior minister in. That is one indication.
That is one, yes.
That is one.
Yes.
That shows the independence
That
of
shows the
superior judiciary.
Yeah, that
Right.
shows the independence of judiciary.
rule of law.
Yeah. So there are indications which the indicators identify how the country can perform in the next 12 months. So the report actually is for 2017-2018. So these are the indicator for the next 12 months, not for the last 12 months.
Right.
So it's basically
These are projections.
These are the
Soft projections.
You can say these are the perception and the real data that is available. How we measure that is from soft data and hard data. Hard data is the data which is available with the international institutions, which government of Pakistan or other sources share with the institutions, like the telecom indicators are with the ITU. On health there is WHO, UNICEF. So these institutions have the hard data on Pakistan. The soft data is measured through the executive opinion survey, which I explained is the survey of the executives in the country. But these are the survey results are based basically they measure 60% of the indicator. 40% is from the hard sources.
Yeah. And you get data for the hard sources through primary method, or it's also
That the hard data is through the
Secondary.
already published data with the international sources.
right.
Yeah.
So these are soft controls for the next 12 months.
Yeah.
What does it say on Pakistan?
It says that most of the institutions have improved their performance.
Right.
SCCP, which lost last year, which lost almost 50 points from 2013-14 to last year, has actually gained more than 15 points this year. Pakistan Customs has improved 20 points. Pakistan Police Services now ranks 116 out of 137 countries in the world.
And last year it was?
It was 118.
Right.
So they have improved 2
Jumped
points.
2 points.
Yeah. Last year they improved 10 points, but this year, so still there is an improvement in the. That is an indication that the public trust in the police services.
Right.
So this also indicates the crime and theft has also decreased. There we have also improved substantially. Again, one of the indicators is that the public trust in politicians has also improved.
Right.
But the report also identifies that the public perception on corruption for doing business in Pakistan has also increased.
That it's corrupt.
That doing business in Pakistan is difficult because of corruption. Corruption is the topmost issue
Item.
for doing business in Pakistan, and as per the report, 17% of the people in Pakistan believe that is the most problematic factor for doing business. And then you have taxation, and then infrastructure and other issues.
I mean, there was a theory that if you invest in capital, that it is accumulated and then it trickles down. And Pakistan has been very progressively following in that. And that is one of the reasons that the decision makers have neglected social sector, health and education and all. But contrary to that, we have seen in the long terms the countries that have invested there, like South Korea and other countries, Japan after the World War, Germany, they have progressed a lot. Does this report say something on that as well? Policy
Yes,
makers and all?
the indicators on primary education and health actually points out to that. Usually political governments are unable to reap the benefits of investment in those sectors, because the benefits of health and education comes after, they pay dividends after 10 to 15 years when your human resource comes into the market. But there we have actually improved there as well. However, there is two issues, that the business impact of malaria and the business impact of HIV, tuberculosis, they are now becoming an issue. Your human resource, the business community is becoming conscious that they need to have a workforce which is
free of these diseases.
So the business impact of these diseases is now coming into effect. So the businesses are also becoming conscious of how their insurance can be impacted because of these issues.
And that is sizable?
That is sizable actually.
That is sizable.
Although we have seen substantial decrease in the number of cases in tuberculosis and HIV, but the business
HIV as well.
HIV as well. But the actual impact on business policies, now we are seeing that into effect now.
And now that is coming into Pakistan. Has Pakistan improved in investing in social sector, or
yes, it has.
How do you say?
Well, we can measure through the rankings, which actually indicates how people and how businesses are actually perceiving these changes. Most of the indicators which have improved in that sector, that pillar, shows an improvement of more than 10 points. So
10 percentage point.
10 ranks basically.
Right.
So you can see that businesses are also becoming conscious of how they can benefit from the economy as well.
Right.
So that is something which is, I think the credit goes to the government as well. They have worked hard on this, and the private sector is now also gearing up to be part of the transition.
After that amendment, the 18th constitutional amendment, the federal government, a lot of devolution. So the credit that the report is giving to the government goes to the federal government?
Yes, it does, but there is another issue there. The data to be collected by on these indicators, on most of the issues which have been devolved, the responsibility still lies with the federal government.
You're right.
So some of the issues where Pakistan is unable to produce fresh data, that responsibility is still with the federal government. So I think if Pakistan can concentrate on increasing the coordination between the provinces and the federation, that can actually help a lot as well in terms of improving the indicators.
Right. So here we take another break, and after the break we'll discuss the report itself and how the report is received or perceived by the users in actual market, and how far it can affect decision making in the international arena. So please stay with us.
It's diverse.
It's original.
It's SDTV.
Welcome back. This methodology is being carried forward and you are doing it. Do you think you need to have some methodology which is progressive, and you need to...
Well, this is the 10th year that the methodology has been constant, and we can also see a few limitations as well.
Right.
So moving forward,
In the methodology.
Moving forward, there is a shift from in the methodology as well. because in the fourth industrial revolution era, data is also very important for the policymakers as well.
Right.
And for that, there is a new methodology which will be introduced, which has been introduced this year, but will be incorporated next year, where technological readiness has been placed at the fourth pillar.
Right.
And that means that, and also the weightage for different pillars has also been reassigned. Initially this year it was your institutions, infrastructure, macroeconomic stability and primary health and education had 65% weightage in the result for a country like Pakistan. But the new methodologies has given equal weightage to all the pillars now.
Right.
So the gains that Pakistan achieved on innovation and business sophistication will have a substantial positive impact in the next coming years.
I mean in assembling and bringing down the indicators for the next 12 months.
Yeah, because Pakistan gets hit basically because of the health and education pillar and then higher education and training. These are the two issues which basically were creating hindrance for Pakistan.
Right.
So now if we have equal weightage for all the pillars, I think Pakistan can concentrate on a more connected society and will benefit from that as well.
Right. Francis Fukuyama has defined another fourth kind of capital. First is capital, financial capital, social capital, human capital. And he said trust in the society is the fourth capital, which is very substantial, and he has shown it. And he wrote a book on that as well, on the fourth capital. How far this report itself is trusted? I mean, if I have the report and I have a capital, financial capital, how far it's very much likely that I am, on the basis of this report, I divert my investment on that?
Well, number one thing is, if you trust is a commodity. If you want to gain trust, if you want to earn trust, you need to give trust.
You're right.
Yeah. But this is the report is probably the most reliable and more trusted, one of the most trusted reports on insight of a country's competitiveness. So it gives you a picture on how a country is performing and
right.
how it will be looking into
and
the
based on that performance, what are the projections likely?
The projection is obviously institutions have been very stable, have been strengthened. Judicial independence has been strengthened. You can see reliability on public institutions has improved. The regulators has improved as well. You can see public trust in politicians has also improved. So I think with the institutions being strengthened, you can see policies will be there where not a set group or a pressure group can benefit from it, but the overall majority of the society or the masses will benefit from that. So business opportunity for individuals will increase greatly as well.
Right. Yeah. One last question. This World Economic Forum had major policies and it gained prominence when this WTO was a buzzword, though a development agenda. And now internationally it is believed that it has saturated. The WTO is, and the sort of a new Cold War and the new realities have taken in, and they are going to define themselves after this, all this 5, 6, 7, 8 decades after the World War. How do you see the World Economic Forum sponsoring a report getting prominence internationally and in the country? Because the leaders who are going to invest are the global leaders, even if they are sitting in Pakistan.
Well, I think a very important thing is we need to realize what is globalization. Globalization is, for me, globalization is a shift from west to east now.
Right.
Most of the
Can't agree
institutions,
more. Yeah.
most of the institutions created after the Second World War
Bretton Woods institutions.
were built to support and rehabilitate the world around Europe. So if you see the World Bank, you see the United Nations and other institutions. With the shift in that approach, because the major population, the wealth of the world has moved toward east now. So you can see creation of new institutions now which are more east centric, or they are more towards the wealth centric as well. So if the wealth is moving from west to east, you can see institutions like Shanghai Cooperation Organization, you can see other institutions coming in force as well. I think World Economic Forum is also an indication how the world influence, the influence has moved from the organizations like United Nations to a more towards World Economic Forum.
Yeah, that takes me to a very important person, the Kishore Mehbubani.
Yeah, my professor.
Oh, your professor. He says the same thing.
Yeah.
He professed that.
Yeah.
And I don't know what he's doing now, but he had been trying to build global leader on this theme as well. And with this, we come to the end of the program. Very important that the wealth is shifting from west to east. New institutions are coming, and the report is basically giving indication on that as well, how the international processes are taking place. So still the report is important as far as that is concerned. With this, we come to the end of the program. Next time, next guest, next topic. So please keep watching our programs.